Everyone thinks they are the hero, yet they lie to themselves more than they lie to their own dear mothers. Honesty is just a premium skin for people who lack the creative talent to design a truly convincing personal narrative. Imagine being so delulu that you believe sincerity is a virtue rather than a massive glitch in your social software. Most people navigate life like NPCs, blindly following a script they did not even bother to read or actually write. Welcome to Honest Manipulator channel. Today we are dissecting the absolute peak strategy of being an authentic, blatant, dirty liar. The secret to high aura is not being a saint, but knowing which mask fits the current simulation perfectly well. You see, the most effective lies are wrapped in a thick, juicy layer of truth that smells like pure integrity. People will literally hand you the keys to their kingdom if you look them in the eyes and act vulnerable. It is truly hilarious how easily the human brain collapses when faced with a well-timed, slightly embarrassing personal confession today. We live in a world where fake news is basic, but fake honesty is the ultimate tool for social dominance. If you are still trying to tell the truth, you are basically playing a grandmaster game with small checkers pieces. Let us look at the guy who admits he is selfish. Suddenly, everyone trusts him because he seems so transparent. That is the paradox. By admitting a small flaw, you gain total immunity for your much larger, darker, hidden agendas. It is like a software update that claims to fix bugs while secretly installing a massive tracking device for control. Your honesty is not a moral choice. It is a tactical error that leaves your social firewall completely open wide. Why would you walk around naked when you could wear a suit of armor forged from the purest, refined deceptions? Most of you have zero riz because you think being real is more important than being effective in this game. The truth is a boring, flat landscape, while a lie is a multi-dimensional palace where you are the sole king. Stop crying about people being fake and start wondering why you are too lazy to build your own believable reality. Look at celebrities who cry on camera. They are just masters of the honest lie, farming your sympathy for profit. They understand that a little bit of salt makes the whole feast of deception taste like a 5-star gourmet meal. Sincerity is the ultimate bait for the weak-minded who desperately want to believe that someone actually cares about them. If you are not using honesty as a weapon, you are just the target practice for someone who actually is. We are going to peel back the skin of this social simulation and find the rot that keeps it running. Sit down, shut up, and prepare to learn how to lie so well that even God might start doubting himself. Consider your office workplace, where everyone pretends to be a big family while sharpening their knives for a promotion. You see a colleague share a personal struggle, and you think they are being vulnerable and brave in the meeting. In reality, they are just building a narrative shield so you cannot criticize their terrible performance on the last project. This is the classic corporate chess move where weakness is weaponized to make the opposition look like the actual villain. The naive assumption is that sharing feelings creates connection, but the predatory reality is that it creates a tactical advantage. Look at the dating scene where guys use emotional intelligence as a literal Trojan horse to bypass a girl's defenses. They claim to be in touch with their feelings, which is just high-level coding for, "I am a professional manipulator." The poor girl thinks she found a soulmate, but she actually just encountered a player with a very high charisma. We are all just lines of code in a simulation where the one with the best script always wins everything. Society tells you that being a good person is the goal, but that is just a lie for the NPCs. Real players know that the game is rigged, so they focus on the optics of goodness instead of actual virtue. Have you noticed how the most successful influencers are the ones who film themselves doing random acts of human kindness? It is not about the charity, it is about the engagement metrics and the perceived aura of being a saint. They are selling you a feeling of warmth while they collect the cold, hard cash from your desperate, lonely clicks. It is truly peak comedy watching the masses defend a millionaire who clearly does not know that they even exist. Your boss tells you that we are a team, but they would replace you in a second for higher profits. That open-door policy is just a trap to identify the complainers before the next round of corporate budget cuts. The world is a meat grinder disguised as a playground, and you are either the butcher or the organic steak. Being authentic is just a marketing buzzword used to sell overpriced coffee and mediocre lifestyles to the bored middle class. You think you are making choices, but you are actually just reacting to the stimuli carefully curated by the masters. Everyone is chasing a vibe that was manufactured in a boardroom by people who haven't felt a real emotion lately. We are all just puppets dancing to a rhythm we did not choose, thinking we are the ones who lead. The honest liar understands this dance and uses it to move through the crowd without ever being truly noticed. They play the part of the sincere friend while calculating the exact moment to strike for the maximum personal gain. This is the context of our modern tragedy, where the most convincing performance wins the prize and the gold trophy. Think of manipulation like a cheat code for a game that everyone else is playing way too seriously right now. Most people have a mental firewall designed to block obvious lies, so you just have to disguise your actual intent. Imagine you want a cookie, but your mom says no, so you tell her you feel very sick and sad. She gives you the cookie to make you feel better, and you just successfully exploited her maternal instincts for sugar. That is manipulation 101 for toddlers, but adults are just bigger, stupider versions of that same exact crying little child. The mechanism relies on a concept called cognitive dissonance, where the brain refuses to see a very painful, obvious truth. If someone is nice to us, our brain rot makes us believe they must be a fundamentally good person deep down. The master knows that the prey is desperate for validation and will ignore red flags just to feel special today. You provide a small amount of vulnerability, which acts like a key that unlocks their entire emotional security system immediately. It is like social engineering, where you ask for a password by pretending to be the helpful IT guy instead. The prey feels a rush of dopamine because they think they are bonding, while the master is just collecting data. This is not magic. It is just basic psychology applied with the cold precision of a surgeon performing a heart transplant. You map out their insecurities and feed them the exact narrative they need to hear to keep them totally compliant. Most people are so starved for real connection that they will swallow a hook if it is shiny and bright. The master does not feel guilt because they see the world as a series of transactions and predictable human responses. Why feel bad for someone who is so eager to be deceived by a story that is clearly too good? It is like getting mad at a fish for biting a lure that looks like a tasty, delicious little worm. The prey's logic is fueled by hope and sunshine, while the master's logic is fueled by cold, hard, objective reality. You use micro-disclosures to build a bridge of trust that is actually a trap door waiting to be sprung open. By the time they realize they are falling, you have already moved on to your next big social target anyway. It is efficient, it is clean, and it is the only way to get ahead in this messy social jungle. The brain rot of the masses is your greatest asset, so make sure you learn how to cultivate it very effectively. Give them a hero to worship or a victim to pity, and they will follow you into the dark fire. Logic is a cold tool, but emotions are the handles that allow you to pick up and move people around. Mastering the mechanism means understanding that most people are just waiting for someone to tell them what to believe now. Enough with the theory, let's get into the actual blueprint for becoming the most believable liar in your social circle. Step 1 is the setup, where you inject a 10% curated truth to bypass their internal social security firewall. You must admit to a flaw that is slightly embarrassing but ultimately harmless to your reputation or your long-term goals. Tell them you struggle with being too organized, or perhaps you are sometimes a bit too honest for your good. This creates a false sense of transparency that makes the remaining 90% of your lies look like holy scripture. Think of it as a software patch that fixes a minor bug while secretly installing a massive backdoor for later. You are building an aura of authenticity that is so thick it could choke a seasoned private investigator or priest. Most NPCs are so used to fake perfection that a little bit of grit makes you seem incredibly real today. Once they believe you are honest about the small things, they will trust you blindly with the big things too. Step 2 is the bait, where you offer a piece of emotional candy that they simply cannot resist eating immediately. Find out what they lack, whether it is validation, excitement, or a sense of belonging in this cold, dark world. Mirror their deepest desires back at them until they think they have finally met their long-lost twin or soulmate tonight. use their own language and slang to blend into their reality like a chameleon hiding in a neon pink jungle. The goal is to make them feel like the main character while you are actually the one directing the movie. If they feel special, their critical thinking skills will drop faster than a crypto coin during a massive market crash. They will start defending your actions to others because they are now emotionally invested in the lie you have built. At this stage, you have successfully shifted their perspective from objective observation to subjective, biased loyalty for your personal gain. Step 3 is narrative maintenance, which is the boring but essential work of keeping your story straight and very consistent. You must remember every detail you have fabricated because a single slip can crash the entire simulated world you created. If they catch a contradiction, do not apologize, but instead reframe it as a misunderstanding on their part entirely now. Gaslighting is a harsh term, so let us call it curating their memory to better fit the brand you established. Always stay calm because the person with the most emotional control is the one who ultimately dictates the shared reality. If you believe your own lie for just a second, your body language will follow and seal the whole deal. This is peak performance art, where the stage is your life and the audience is everyone you have ever met. Congratulations, you are no longer just a player, you are the architect of a world where you always win big. Now that you have the tools, you are probably feeling a bit dirty inside your little human heart right now. That feeling is just your ego trying to protect the fake identity of a good person you created for yourself. Most of you will watch this video, feel enlightened, and then go right back to being a total social pawn. It is easier to be a victim than it is to take responsibility for the narrative you are actually writing. Stop being delulu about the world because it does not care about your feelings or your precious sense of justice. The moral high ground is just a lonely hill where losers gather to complain about the winners in the valley. You think your sincerity is a shield, but it is actually a target painted on your back for every predator. Every interaction is a power struggle, and if you are not pushing, then you are definitely being pushed around today. Discard the good guy identity like a piece of outdated software that is slowing down your entire system right now. True freedom is realizing that no one is coming to save you from the glitches of this rigged social simulation. Your integrity is just a social leash that the masters use to keep you walking in a very straight line. The world is a cold, dark place, and your empathy is the light that makes it easier for them tonight. If you want to stop being a pawn, you must first admit that you are on the wrong team now. It is peak brain rot to believe that things will get better if you just keep being a nice little NPC. Stop waiting for permission to take what you want from a world that is already trying to take from you. Being an honest manipulator is about seeing the game clearly and choosing to win instead of just slowly dying inside. You are either the one holding the strings or the one dancing to the music that someone else is playing. It is time to upgrade your aura and start cooking your own reality instead of eating garbage they feed you. Most of you will forget everything I said by the time you finish your next boring little cup of coffee. You will return to your comfortable delusions because the truth is too heavy for your weak and tired social soul. That is the ultimate tragedy of being human. We crave the truth, but we absolutely fall in love with lies. But for the 2% of you who actually get it, the entire world is now your personal playground tonight. Sincerity is a scam, so you might as well be the one who owns the company that sells the product. I told you I was an honest manipulator, and this whole video was just a way to get your attention. Subscribe to the channel now if you want more of this toxic wisdom, or just keep being a pathetic pawn.